Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. You know, Bold and Beautiful has this knack for making nearly the exact same episode and putting out nearly the exact same dialogue. And sometimes they'll put out the exact same dialogue. They'll change the they'll change the wording, but it'll mean the exact same thing. I don't know how long this actually has been a thing, but it seems like it's been a thing since I started watching the show. And I started watching the show, I would say maybe 2021. I mean, there's a point where Brooke goes to talk to Finn about Hope and everything and trying to get Finn to vouch for Hope and change Steffi's mind. There's one point where she says, "This was a mistake. This was an accident." But did you realize that those two words mean the exact same thing, right? Now, granted, she's talking about two different instances. One was the party, and she said that was a mistake, which is very insulting. You didn't make a mistake, you made a bad choice. Let's be very clear about that. And then And it's like, okay, well, what about the other time when she practically pinned me to, the desk or whatever, when she jumped on top of me, whatever. That was an accident. You might as well just said the exact same damn thing. It meant the same thing. On top of that, accident, mistakes, I mean, it just seems like there's a pattern. And the problem with this conversation is that you're not adding any sort of nuance. You're just not there saying, "Oh, she doesn't want you. She's moved on. She doesn't want you." Okay, but her actions are saying otherwise. So unless you can sit there and offer any other explanation, you don't waste the gas just coming here at this point. And that's exactly what that is. It is a pointless scene because it means absolutely nothing. It really doesn't. Now, while that's going on, you got Carter, you got Hope, and, Carter has some reservations. And he's like, listen, is this right? I've always been about principle, about loyalty and stuff like that. And this is pretty much kind of going against that. But then Hope pretty much convinces him. And I'm just like, okay. So you go back and forth for a little bit. And of course she tries to convince him because, it's just going to work out in her favor. Then she's like, well, Steffi's on a power trip and she can fire anyone at any point in time. She can fire Katie. She can fire Brooke. She can fire you. And the way that Carter has been going, that's most likely what's going to end up happening. Carter's like, I'll give it one last pitch. One last try. Yeah, one last try. He goes down to Forster Creations. Meanwhile, Steffi, Katie comes in there. It's like, hey, listen, I did exactly what you asked. Steffi's like, hey, listen, I figured this is the right thing to do. This is the professional thing to do. Is to sit there and give her a heads up. Katie's like, well, nothing's professional about this. And Steffi was like, yeah, I don't like your tone. And what Hope did, yeah, that wasn't professional either. So let's not go there. And then she says, hey, listen, that happened to you. What would you do? And Katie was like, well, I would get to the bottom of it. The hell you would not. How you want to sit there and look her in the face and sit there and say, well, if it was me, I would sit there and investigate it. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Don't do that. I understand that that's your niece or whatever, but don't do that. Let's just be real. You would have the exact same reaction. So let's not even sit there and play that game. Ridge comes in there, and Ridge is like, I don't like it so far. And he tells Katie, hey, listen, hold off on that press release. What are we holding up for? At this point, Steffi's pretty much like, you're making a little nervous. I mean, you still on my side, right? You still standing on business with me, right? Brooke didn't give me an ear, right? We go back and forth or whatever, and she's like, I just want to make sure you're still backing me. Carter comes in there, and Carter gives one last pitch. You can already guess all the words, all the dialogue, all the passion that he's giving behind that plea, which was completely different when he wasn't, you know, as they say, Loganized. He was looking at the numbers, he was looking at the facts, and be like, hey, listen, we can't do this. This place is not a charity. Whatever you want to call it, we gotta cut this, we gotta shut this down. He was on business before. He was a numbers guy, he was the logic guy. Until the logic guy starts sitting there thinking with the wrong brain. It's among our favorite joy. It's among our favorite joys, but also among our greatest weaknesses. Okay? It's among men's favorite joys, but it's among our fatal weaknesses. You all know what I'm talking about. He's clenching that folder because he knows once he gives it to them, they trust me. They're just gonna sit there and sign this and just go blindly into it. That we can run a company. Yeah, okay. Um, at this point, fine, sure. Let's just sit there and see how that's gonna go. I don't think it's going to go anywhere personally, but whatever. I feel like that's pretty much about it. I said this in my General Hospital review, and I'll put it out in the post. Tuesdays is going to be my official rest day. Every other day is still going to be the same, unless like I'm sick or I get home extremely late or whatever. But every other day except for Tuesday is going to be my rest day because I always sit there and call it hell day. It's hell day because I'm at work longer, and if I don't at least get two done before I get home, then everything else just kind of falls by the wayside. Like I really didn't like putting out the Bone Beautiful reviews so late, but I didn't want to sit there and not do the live stream either. So it's just a lot easier to just designate that one day to just having all. Plus, as much as I love streaming, you know, sometimes you just need a day to kind of just sit there and recoup. Well, not recuperate, just to keep it fresh. So I figured Tuesdays, since Tuesdays is already a hell day, I might just sit there and take off that day. Anyway, I will be back tomorrow, streaming the usual time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and we'll talk about all the four soaps. Um, Let me know what your thoughts are in today's episode, and I'll see you in the next video.